What's up, Cloud Gamers? Why is that? That's
What?
not on my side. All right. Anyway, what's going on,
Panic!
Cloud Gamers? Panic. Panic. What's going on, guys? So, welcome to CGX Podcast number 71. You'll notice that Ace isn't here right now. He just kind of turned everything over to all of us for a little while, but he should be back for the second half, according to what he's saying. So, let's hope so, because you don't want to just watch us the whole time. All right, so we're going to be going over a little bit of news for Amazon Luna, Geforce Now, and xCloud. That'll be the first half of the show, and then we're going to get into some topics with Microsoft and Rainbow Six Extraction and Fortnite coming back to mobile through Geforce Now. So first, we're going to go around and get started with the panel here. So let's see, what's Ace always say? We save the best for last. But then really he always goes last. So it took me a while to figure that out. But anyways, we'll start off with Holtz. What's going on, Holtz? What have you been playing? What platform? How you been?
So I've been slowly grinding again on Darksiders 3. This is a game that I always put off, and it's a game that I need to finish as soon as possible before the February titles came. So I've just been playing it on Stadia, really enjoying it. And yeah, I've been focusing more on TV shows this week than actually cloud gaming, but that's just another thing.
Yeah, there's been a lot going on in entertainment in general, not just in gaming. Maker of Chaos, are you done?
I'm not one of them gamers that can actually watch a TV show then jump to a game. So I have to plan my night how I'm going to spend it. So I stay focused on one thing.
So wait, so you're either gonna game one night or you're gonna watch a TV show or a movie, but it's not gonna be no combination of this. See, that's opposite for me. I love to watch a show or a movie and then like 5 minutes later go jump into the game I was playing before I got into watching it. So Maker of Chaos, sir, how are you doing? Same question. What have you been up to? What have you been playing?
I've been playing a lot. Played a bit of Halo Infinite, some of that new matchmaking type, the new event that's going on with that. I've been playing a little bit of Final Fantasy 14, a little bit of started Rust, which is an old game in my opinion, but it's a good one. I had a few friends hop on there and just have a little fun with that. And Windjammers 2 on xCloud, I played a bit of that, and I think that's just about it for this week.
A little bit of everything, not too much. You didn't jump into any Extraction?
No, I actually have it installed on my PC, and I just haven't touched it.
All right, Duncan, sir, you already know.
You're sirring me now?
Sir. Because this is what Ace does a lot. He'll say the name, then sir, and then what platform, what game, and how you been.
Yeah, and I rake him about that as well, so you get to rake him. So
I'll take it this time.
You'll take it. Yeah. What have I been playing? I have jumped across a load of different things. I've been playing a fair bit of Genshin Impact, which has been a lot of fun over on GFNs, on some Transport Fever too. I have played Extraction on xCloud and on GFN. It's a game for mates, and not to damn it with faint praise. It is the perfect game for Game Pass. For me, it's the perfect game for cloud. We'll probably touch on to the wee trick you can do to play it on GFN, because I didn't pay for money for it on GFN. So, which is always great. So I've stuck in an absolute ton of time of a load of different games. Oh, Transport Fever too. You can't go wrong with Transport Fever. So I go on to someone else before I bore everybody with my simulators and stuff like that.
Let's not start with the simulators. Only bangers. So, anyway, Tito, what's going on, man? Am I saying that right? How you been?
Yeah, Tito, just fine. Yeah, it's all good, thank you, man. Well, this week, I didn't play much. Been pretty busy with work, but I took some time to play Desperados 3 on Geforce Now. It's a strategy game from THQ Nordic. I didn't play. Actually, I think this is the first strategy game I started in more than 20 years ago. First strategy game I played was Commandos, from a Spanish studio. That was in the 90s. I remember at my friend's house. But, it's a genre that I never played before. So far, I'm enjoying it. It's quite easy to get into it, even if you never played strategy games before. So that was it, really, for me this week in terms of playing, yeah.
Awesome. Awesome. So Fletch, I don't think I've actually not met you before on here. Is this your first time on the podcast?
Yes, it is. Yeah, thank you for having me on.
Yeah, definitely. Welcome, man. So what have you been playing? Where have you been playing at and how you been?
Quite a few things actually. So, been playing Extraction across GFN, xCloud, Stadia, alongside sort of playing a bit of FIFA 22 on Stadia side, Breakfast as well, and then playing a bit of ESO on my PC. So, a few different games, but yeah, it's been good trying Extraction. I enjoy it, and like Duncan says, definitely Game Pass worthy.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I too have been enjoying Extraction a lot more, and it's actually a game I thought I was going to hate, and so kind of a 180 there. But I know we're gonna get onto Extraction, but that's pretty much what I've been playing. I've been into a little bit of God of War still on PC and on PS Now, and Extraction. Other than that, pretty much everywhere from Luna, Stadia, GeForce Now, PC, Xbox, and PlayStation. So a lot of time in that already. So let's go ahead and move on to, well, let's say hi. Let's see who we got going on over here. So what do we got for our comments? Yeah, that's something that people ask for all the time. We'll see what happens with that. But the possibilities are becoming endless with Microsoft. We got Hell Monkey, who still isn't back yet, but we want him. What is it? You don't want Hell Monkey? Hey, don't blow. Hell Monkey shouting out to me. Yeah, if nothing else, just be entertained by my complete lack of ability to run the podcast. It should be good. Jay Smith is here as always every week. What's going on, man? Who else we got down through? Octavia's back here. She actually came from the Dell TV community, I believe. We were talking about her a couple times here. She's been over on my channel, so welcome back here, Octavia. She seems to be jumping into cloud gaming pretty seriously the past couple of weeks, which is awesome to see. I never really thought about cloud gaming as cord cutting as much as TV, but now recently I've been kind of looking at it that way. So been pretty interesting. All right, let's go ahead and get moved over to what we're going to start with for news this week. And we'll start with Amazon Luna, which should be pretty easy because either you guys haven't played it where you're at or they haven't had a ton of news. So Amazon Luna did put out Control Ultimate Edition, which is something I've been begging xCloud to do because we still have the original version over on xCloud. And we got Rainbow Six Extraction. So going down the line, starting with Halts. I know you haven't tried any of these, but do you have any opinion as far as these games coming to Luna?
Yeah. I was actually shocked because I thought actually Control was already on Luna, and it's only that people said no, it's the Ultimate that's come on, and I was like, oh, I didn't even know what the difference was between the two. So it's good it's here for all those Control fans who actually want Control Ultimate. And yes, happy to see Rainbow Six Extraction, but of course, I also downloaded it on my PC on day one, but I never got round to play it, so I don't know what it's like on any platform and service. So I hope it runs actually great on Luna.
So did you say you haven't tried Extraction anywhere?
I haven't. I was too distracted with other stuff. So,
all right, Duncan. I won't say sir. What are you thinking about Amazon Luna this week with Control Ultimate and Extraction?
At least I tweeted about it, but never mind that.
I can't keep up with your Twitter, man. Like I just can't.
No. I didn't say me. I said at least I tweeted about it.
Oh, all right. You're jabbing already.
Oh dear, yes. I'm just getting the bad jokes over and done with because someone's going to make them. So I'll take the blame for it.
Taking the attention off your shave.
Yes, exactly. With that Control, I have my thing about Remedy games. Remedy games are, everybody says they're brilliant, but no one actually plays them, and they're always in the I want to play this, and then it's one of them things. But it's good that it's there because of a good reputation. And Rainbow Six Extraction, it's everywhere, so absolutely good that it is there. So there's not much more you can really say about that. They're ticking along, adding more value to the subscription. It's a bit of fun. A bit of fun that it is all there. So
yeah, I think that's
nothing really much to say.
Right. I think that's something really cool that Ubisoft's been doing, though, because like you said, they literally keep putting their games everywhere. And it's kind of like the Microsoft Xbox philosophy right now of get your game out to as many people as you can to play. And Extraction is definitely one of those ones that you need a player, like you want that player base. So it makes sense that they've dropped that absolutely everywhere. Fletch, I don't know. Do you play Amazon Luna?
Yeah, no, it's not available here, unfortunately.
Okay.
So I haven't had a chance to test it out myself, unfortunately.
All right. So any thoughts on the two games that are added to the service?
I think they're both strong gets ready for Luna. Control Ultimate Edition's everywhere now, so it's great that they've got it as well. Same with Extraction, sort of with Ubisoft putting it everywhere. It's always a benefit to get more games onto a service, and sort of Luna adding that up, especially in their sort of beta stage, is always looking positive for them. So hopefully they just keep adding more and more as time goes on.
Absolutely. Yeah, it is. It is two strong games for them to grab up. Tito, what about you?
Well, I didn't play Luna as well either because I'm in Europe as well.
Right.
I was aware that they had Control. As Fletch said, Control is everywhere. So if you didn't play it, it's because probably it's not your type of game, right? But good, if someone for some reason just subscribe now to Luna, and for some reason they didn't play Control yet, it's great that they can have the option to play Control Ultimate Edition. And in terms of Rainbow Six, we know Ubisoft is heavily invested on every single cloud gaming service. So it was expected to be, to get their game on Luna as well. I'm guessing that their game is available through the Ubisoft Plus channel, right? Not the Luna Plus, isn't it?
This is through their Luna Plus, their regular sub for their
Oh,
channel.
well,
Yeah.
that's even better, yeah. So,
Yeah.
I
So
mean,
they had the original Control on there on the Luna Plus channel, and then now they added the Ultimate Edition as well. So they have both of them on the Plus channel.
well, I can't say much, but I'm happy for you guys on the US. You have another option to choose about where you can play those games.
Right, man. I hope Luna gets to expand soon because it really works well here. I hope it does when it expands as well. Maker, what about you?
I think it's a decent titles. I kind of wish there was more Luna Plus titles coming out, but if you haven't played Control already, I have played and beat it, Duncan, and it is very good. I like it a lot, and I think it's worth that $5.99 a month just to knock it out and beat it.
This is just to see if I'd hear my own hands up if you completed Control. And it is absolutely everywhere, and it's been given away absolutely everywhere as well. I think that's what I'm sort of meaning.
I picked up before it was given to everybody, so I think I paid $20 for it.
Sorry, go ahead.
I was just saying, I think I paid $20 for it before like Epic Game Store gave it away, or it came to Game Pass and stuff like that. But I think Ubisoft getting their title is standard, and I don't think it's anything special in my opinion, but it's solid I guess.
Yeah, just some solid additions. Gamer, you made it.
Yeah, I'm here.
So let's get caught up. So before you answer about Luna, what have you been up to? What else have you been playing, and where at?
Everything I'm sure everyone else already said. Rainbow Six, Extraction. But that's really about it, man. I've been bouncing between Stadia, Luna, and Geforce Now, just checking out the differences across each platform. But yeah, that's about it.
Yeah, that's what I've been doing too. I've been playing Extraction everywhere just to do the nerdy thing and see what it looks like and how it's playing everywhere. But
yeah.
What about Luna? So I'm sure you've been playing it on Luna as well. Have you tried the Control Ultimate Edition on there or no?
I have, but it was really quick. Like Duncan said, man, I probably spent 10 minutes in there just to look around, poke around, and I was out.
Yeah, I did the same thing with that game. That's like one of my benchmark games for ray tracing now. I mean, I beat it when it launched, but that game has just become like one of my benchmark games. So it's literally everywhere.
Yeah, it's everywhere. Yeah, it's perfect for that.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, same for me. I think they're good gets for Luna. the reason I want to see Control Ultimate Edition over on xCloud is because that'll move us into the 30 FPS, or I mean the 60 FPS from the 30 it's stuck at now with the original edition. That's my harp on them doing that. So hopefully with Luna doing it, maybe xCloud will be able to do it soon.
Yeah. I mean,
for
some
that.
love has to be given to Luna, right? Only because most of their titles are 60 frames per second. All of their titles, actually.
Yes. Yeah. All they
that's
don't
a
have
pretty
one
big
under
deal.
60.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's a big deal. So,
Yeah, I like the quality control, but sitting here in Ace's seat right now, I do kind of start to feel the anxiety of like wanting that expansion and to see it do more and and really grow, because I do enjoy it as well. But you know, like we've all said, Luna, they're going to do it how they want to do it, and it's going to take some time. So,
oh yeah, you're right.
all right, I think that was it for Amazon Luna. Does anybody else have anything before we move on to Geforce Now? So we're going to have to slow down. We got 45 more minutes in the first half of all this news. Duncan, you're going to have to help me out when it comes to Geforce Now here, because as far as our notes go, we've got the 4 games, which I'm going to list off. Go ahead, start looking. Tom Clancy's Rainbow Six Extraction, of course, which is everywhere and on Geforce Now. Blacksmith Legends on Steam, FlyCorp on Steam, and Garfield Kart Furious Racing on Steam were the 4 games. But then, after the news, they added some more. So if Duncan knows what those other games are, he can tell us.
Hitman 3 on Steam, which is a damn date release on Steam. Expeditions Rome, which is on Steam and the Epic Game Store, day and date. And something I made this joke in our show. I'm going to make it here. It is something sounding like what Holtz watches in the evening in Warno.
Oh man. So before we move on to talking about the releases for this week, since you're already up, Duncan, we often talk about like surprise releases, right? Or how we feel about like drops happening. And we all make these news videos, Tuesday or Wednesday for Thursday. Then on Thursday, like we get 4 more games after we've released that. You're like, oh man, we knew that, like somebody had to know those were coming. Like, what does that bother you at all? Or are you cool with it?
I'm telling you now, older games, as in back catalogue, I'm not too fussed about if they're dropped as what would say stealth drops. But new titles, I'm a bit more annoyed if I don't know that they're coming. With these extra ones dropping, I think it's always good. I think it's actually worth maybe speculating on why this has actually happened. I think they're starting to get a bit more capacity now after the 3080 and this Fortnite stuff they've been doing. I think they're going to try and get the games back up, because we do know that their aim last year was having at least 10 games a week there.
Right.
But I don't like stealth drops, and I don't like stealth drops which are new games. I'm a bit easier on them if it's older games, but new games, no, because that Expeditions Rome was a game I was actually having my eye on, and I then forgot about it because it wasn't coming.
All right. So, do you think then do you think they're going to attempt to try to get back up to that like 10 game a week, 40-50 game a month goal that they originally had last year, or do you think they're going to kind of keep it down a little bit?
I think we're going to see it push back up again. I thought last year when they announced this 3080, I think we were going to see the wind down. I thought we would have seen a bit of a uptake this month, and I think we're starting to see it with these extra ones dropping. I'm hoping that we're going to see it going back up to 10, because I'm the sad person out from the group here. I checked SteamDB, and at this moment in time, they've got 2,500 games in the back catalogue who have done the wee tick the box, wanting to come to GFN, and that list goes up on a daily basis. People are wanting to bring their games to GFN, and this isn't even including the Epic games. This is just on Steam. So I think we're going to see, hopefully, a uptick in the games.
Gotcha. Well, it only makes sense, and the larger your consumer base gets, the more likely you are that games come to your service, and that goes for everybody. Fletch, what about you for this week on Geforce Now with these releases, and have you dove into any of them? Obviously, Extraction.
Yeah, Extraction's been a big one that I've jumped into, and I have jumped into Garfield Kart as well. There's a game I already own on there, so sort of been playing through that again. It's good for all the sort of the younger ones out there who want something on GFN. Definitely worth it as well. Good kart racer all round. So always a bonus to see that one go on there. But the other two, I've never actually dove into them, but they seem to have quite positive reviews. So yeah, looks good really for GFN. Sort of adding just more and more.
Yeah, I mean that's kind of what they're pretty consistent. They've had a interesting couple of months, but it's to be expected from November on, like with the launch of the 3080 and them trying to pull that off globally and have decent capacity and performance. It's not a surprise that the team kind of had to shift focus and we got less games for a little while. So hopefully Duncan's right and we'll see that return to 10 or more games a week. Gamer, what about you? What do you think about this week for Geforce Now?
Yeah, I think it's solid. So personally, I did not play Garfield, but my kid did, and really enjoyed it. So obviously, for me, I'm more on the Rainbow Six side of things, but I think it was pretty balanced. Something for the kids and something for the old people like me.
Sometimes we get caught up in the hype of the games and we'll discount a game or make fun of it, right? Because it's not for us or it's for a kid, but like, I'm a dad, so yeah, like my perspective changes over time.
Absolutely,
My kid's gonna be 6 tomorrow and he's starting to take that interest, right? So games like that, I'm like all of a sudden I'm looking at like, oh, I'm saving that in my library for him later. I'm saving this and I do it on all the different platforms. So that's you start seeing the variety being even more important than before. So Tito, what about you, sir, for this week on Geforce Now?
Yeah, well, personally, I think it has been, an okay week. Not great, not bad. As you said, we had initially 4 games. We thought that was it, and later we got 4 games more, which is, it was unexpected. But at the end of the day, the more the better. And to be honest, the only game I'm really interested out of those 8 games is Garfield Kart Racing. We know it's not Crash Racing, it's not Sonic Racing, it's not Mario Kart. But since we don't have any of those, at least we have some, kart racing game that everyone in the family can play. Other than that, it's just an okay week. I'm hoping that, as Duncan said, they start adding more games. They could if they wanted to. I guess one of the reasons why they don't is because they are aware that some of those 2,000 games, don't have any interest for most people. But there are still some games that, people want to play and have around 200 players per day. I mean, concurrent players usually. And it would be nice to have them on Geforce Now. Let's see what happens, on next week's. Let's see. But this week it was just okay, not bad, but not amazing, really. We always know that Ubisoft games are going to be in Geforce Now on day one.
Right.
So that wasn't really, such big news because it was something to be expected. So, yeah.
I really think it's cool how we all say that like Ubisoft's going to be on everything and that's cool, but whatever. But like just a couple of years ago, it wasn't that way. And I was purchasing so many more games in so many different places. And now it's like with something like Ubisoft Connect, the games are just kind of dropping everywhere. And we've already gotten used to it. Like we're already not numb to it, but we're already used to that value. Like I think Game Pass kind of opened that door a few years ago. So.
Yeah, we get used to the nice things quite quickly.
Yeah, exactly. Holt, so what about you for Geforce Now this week? You are often critical on the Geforce Now, so
of course, because why would I care about Blacksmith Simulator? Oh my god, another one of them. When you say they're going to bring 10 to the server, sounds like another 10 simulator. Oh my god! But anyway, not on the negative. I did actually buy Garfield, not for anyone else but myself. I was a big, huge Garfield fan back in the early 90s, Garfield and Friends. I love mod car races, I love Sonic races. So I seen this for $129 over in the UK, and I think it's $1.50 for you on Steam. So it was that cheap, I had to run out and buy it just to add it to my Geforce Now library. So I'm going to have some time enjoying that because, like a lot of people said, we don't really have that many like boxcar races, so it's really going to be fun to see the chaos that Garfield and his friends can bring to the racetrack.
Yeah, Mario Kart really being the king of kart racers kind of made everybody love that genre, especially the older folks, probably like all of us here on this panel, who probably our first experience with a kart racer was Mario Kart. I know mine was on Super Nintendo. It was my original experience. So it's always made me go out and try other kart racers as they come out, and many fail, but some are pretty good. I haven't checked out Garfield myself, but as soon as my son's ready to jump into it, I'm sure I'll give it a go.
But as I was saying, to me, they're not for me. But every week, I'm always happy to see what Duncan has to say, and every time he's happy, the library's expanding for his type of games like Expedition Rome. It makes me feel, good. Some people are enjoying it, but for me, I would want them to bring a more diverse library that sort of caters for me.
Yeah, you do have a certain particular taste in games, and actually that's the stuff I'm wanting to see you put on your channel and talk about, because it's the kind of stuff I don't know about in gaming. So, but good luck with getting a lot of them coming to GeForce Now, because it ain't easy. Maker of Chaos, the best for last. What?
Just quick on jump in. I did actually link, because Duncan on his channel actually he told us how to link the Game Pass with the GeForce Now. So I actually did boot my PC and actually linked Extraction to my GeForce Now. So I've got that as well, but I didn't pay for it via PC storefronts.
Got you. Yeah, I'm going to have Duncan talk about that a little bit more here in just a second too. Maker, what about you for this week on GeForce Now?
Yeah, I think it's a solid week for GeForce Now. I think Garfield was a decent little game. I'm not too interested in that blacksmith game. I don't know, is not for me. But overall, I think it's a decent bit of games. Nothing really huge other than Extraction, which is fine. And I do hope that they really kick it up, bring some more games. But I have a feeling that with this 3080 tier, they might be having to optimize a bit, because now that you have to do the free tier, you have to do the founders tier, and you have to do 3080 tier for optimizing settings and stuff of that nature. I have a feeling we're going to see 6 to maybe 7 games probably for most of the year.
Yeah, so as you add more hardware and more tiers, as you add more work to the onboarding process.
Yep.
Yeah, that makes sense. So hey, got to grow the team, right? We've got to get more people to onboard games faster. Maybe. Or streamline the process, which is something else I know they've been working really hard at, is trying to streamline their process for getting these games up and ready to go. And I think there's still a lot of people out there that don't realize that GeForce Now pretty much has to start the main part of that onboarding process when the game launches. So when we get access to the game on our launcher or our store, that's when they're getting in and trying to get things going. So trying to do 6, 10, 15 games in some of those weeks was difficult. And I think that's why you saw sometimes there'd be 2 or 3 days before a game would go live. Yeah, Duncan, so about that linking Game Pass Extraction to GeForce Now, give us a quick little, because you had a good video out on that. Give us a quick little rundown on that for those that don't know yet.
Basically, it's nuts. That'll just do that. It's a complete and utter unexpected bonus of if you subscribe to Xbox Game Pass Ultimate. The way they do it is you actually link it through the Ubisoft Connect. But if you link it through Ubisoft Connect, you can get access to it through GeForce Now. So basically, you go into your Xbox app or the website, link your Xbox for Game Pass for PC with your Ubisoft Connect account, and there, bang, you get Rainbow Six and Rainbow Six Extraction both added to your Ubisoft Connect library, and away you go. It's an unforeseen consequence of everything coming together and with Game Pass, and there is possibilities down the line for other sort of things like that, unless GFN and Ubisoft and Microsoft start talking, because if and when we move on to EA Play, using that as a browser instead of Origin, we could get
that's what I was going to mention. Like, is it unforeseen? It kind of isn't, because like EA knew, right? Like, there's a reason that EA desktop app exists, and they created that and put it out in beta form mere months before they added their sub to Game Pass. And so they knew like there was this possibility of a link, I think, with the accounts. So they have a whole separate app to where you can't get your Game Pass games to run and work that way. Ubisoft was basically like, it's fine. It's fine. Just let the game show up and they can keep it. The thing is, do you think this is on purpose and it stays this way? Do you think they close this little loophole in the future? Do you think Ubisoft's going to stay friendly with it? Like, it's really odd.
For me, I think they're going to keep it because we know what Ubisoft are doing in the bigger sort of picture. They're going gas, 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 and you've already seen that in Extraction, where you can see you can see where they're going to be going down the lines. Rainbow Six, you have to buy all the packs, and
Right.
Assassin's Creed's going to be doing that with them moving to Assassin's Creed. I can't say Infinite, where that's going to be jumping in. We've got a video. If we're pushing videos, we're going to push this. We've got a video coming out and saying why that game's probably going to be best on cloud as well. There's just Ubisoft are just very, very friendly, and I think they just want to get it out. I'm not going to say what other people call them, but any cloud service, they're wrapping themselves up with. And we've seen that this week as well with that other one, which I forgot the name of.
Ubisoft has been super consumer and gamer friendly recently, and any company that does that, from Xbox to Ubisoft or anybody else, is going to get more success. It's just the bottom line. When you do that, you're going to get more consumers. Did anybody else on the panel do this? Did you link your Game Pass to Ubisoft?
Yeah, I did, and I hope they close it down ASAP before people like me get ideas in my head where I'm like, well, I can link my PlayStation account, and I have PlayStation Now, so where's all my Ubisoft titles on Geforce Now? Because I would love linking any cloud service and getting it all available on Geforce Now without paying Ubisoft Plus. So I feel they're going to lose a lot of money if they carry on doing it. So,
anybody else on that? It's a bad thing? Anybody else think it's a bad thing?
Well, it's not a bad thing for gamers. It's a good thing for us. But I think it should have been one of them things where keep it quiet on the DL, because the more people get hold of it, the more it's getting taken away.
It's also good for Game Pass because, like, look, if you can get it cheaper through Game Pass, more people will probably subscribe to it.
Yeah, and to be honest, we don't know if they are going to add more games to Game Pass. So of course, everyone is thinking, in the future they might add Assassin's Creed, the Division 3, or wherever they're going to release, Riders Republic, and so on. But they might not add more games to Game Pass. So, maybe those are the only two that we can play everywhere, thanks to Game Pass.
One more thing I want to hit on with Fletch and Gamer, because I know you guys played Extraction on Geforce Now. I think both of you played Extraction on Geforce Now.
Yep.
Okay. One is, did you try that account linking thing? And also, have you experienced any performance problems with Extraction on GFN or on a local PC if you've tried it?
Personally, myself, I haven't come across any performance issues. It's been pretty solid through. I played around sort of 4 hours on each, so GFN, xCloud, and Stadia. So, but I haven't had any issues on anything really. Slight bit of choppiness on xCloud, but other than that, nothing at all.
All right, cool. Gamer?
Yeah, it's been really solid for me. Regarding the account linking, at 9 p.m. PST, I actually linked from Luna, which was kind of weird. So I jumped right into GFN at 9 p.m. to check it out. I saw it pop up, clicked, no access, entered the code, etc. Back out of GFN, I opened Luna, started the game. Ubisoft Connect added it to the library. And I said, whoa, wait a minute, this is interesting. Okay, go through, close out, and it was available in GFN. So that's how I got it.
It's really interesting, and that's the first time I've heard of that one. So there's an interesting thing with the Ubisoft account linking and having the games show up either on a service or in your Ubisoft launcher, like from Game Pass. I hope that trend continues in the future, and this isn't like a one-off, because I think it's really cool to be able to do that. But I also know they want as many people playing Extraction as possible, so I think more things go with this game than might with others, but we'll see. For me, I did bring up that performance issue because I have run into some issues with Extraction both on my local PC and in Geforce Now, but it hasn't been like an unplayable thing. But even on Geforce Now, where all of a sudden I'm having like a ton of issues with frame loss and how steady things are, and it seems to be more in-game side because I'm experiencing it locally as well. So if anybody else is having issues, especially while using DLSS with Extraction, I'm pretty sure a patch or two in the near future will take care of that. Anytime there's a new game release on PC, I swear I'm always battling something, getting it to run smoothly. But for me, I have run into a lot of little frame drop issues and trouble with it. So if you're suffering with that, hang in there, and hopefully we'll get that fixed pretty soon. So, all right. Well, pretty good. We are gonna move on to Xbox Cloud Gaming, and they've had
GTP. We're missing the big news, and we've got some questions in the chat.
Oh wait, what? I was watching it. Hold on.
Right?
Are we covering that later?
I think we didn't cover Fortnite mobile beta.
Right.
Oh, it's later. Okay, never mind.
Yeah,
I'll go back to sleep.
If it's don't go back to sleep. If it's Extraction, Fortnite, or Microsoft's purchase, we're gonna be to that next.
Oh, okay, good.
It would help if I read the notes. I'm an absolute moonbeam, so don't be worrying.
Well, we didn't even have notes the past few weeks, so it's all good. All right, so with Xbox Cloud Gaming, we've got Death's Door, Hitman Trilogy, Nobody Saves the World, Paparazzi, Rainbow Six Extraction, Rainbow Six Siege for PC that was already on console and cloud, and Windjammers 2. One really cool thing with this list is I think all of them are cloud, console, and PC, which I love this trend that every month that goes by, more and more games are all three until eventually it's just like all of them are going to be doing that, which I love to see. So starting with you, Fletch, have you tried any of these games on Xbox Cloud Gaming? I know you've at least played Extraction. Yeah. And what has your experience been as well?
Yeah, so I'm quite a big xCloud fan, or Xbox fan just in general. So I've jumped into, already had Death's Door anyway. So managed to jump back into that again. Really fun. Everyone should play that. Best indie game on Xbox at the moment, in my opinion. Hitman, really good. Performance really well on xCloud as well. Rainbow Six Extraction, obviously. Personally, performs better than the Stadia version, but won't go there. And then, I played a bit of that Paparazzi, but yeah, it's kind of a weird one. I only jumped into it for around half an hour and just, kind of weirded out, so I stopped.
Definitely not my type of game either, but it's there for those who may want it.
Yeah, definitely, yeah.
Did you get to try out the touch controls for Death's Door? Because I was pretty impressed on my iPad with the custom touch controls.
Personally, I haven't. Normally with xCloud, I'll be either on console or on my PC, so I'll just use the controller anyway. But I haven't touched out touch controls of any of them yet, but I assume that Death's Door would be quite good with that, actually.
Yeah, it works pretty good. I'm the same way. I'm usually either console or PC, and I happened to be out the other day, and Death's Door was just added, and I was like, let me click in here because I don't carry the controller or the backbone with me or whatever. And I was like, wow, this is actually extremely playable out here on my phone and on my iPad on cell data with the touch controls. So that was pretty cool for Death's Door. Tito, what about you for Xbox Cloud Gaming this week?
Yeah, well, I didn't try any of the games, but my opinion is that it was a very strong week. Death's Door is a game that I had on my wish list on Steam because I wanted to play it on Geforce Now for different reasons. I didn't end up buying the game, so now I'll have a chance to try it. I know that everyone who played Death's Door love it, so I'm keen to try it whenever I have time. The thing with me with xCloud is that it doesn't work that well. So if I have time to play, I usually try to play on Geforce Now. But anyway, in terms of the news, I think it's really good. Another game, Windjammers 2, which is a game that didn't opt in for Geforce Now, but I was hoping it would. So probably I will try this game as well. And Nobody Saves the World as well. Another game that I was checking daily on Steam TV, hoping that they will opt in the game for Geforce Now. They didn't. But yeah, now I can have it on xCloud. So I think it's, very strong week. I would say it's, out of all the cloud gaming services, they have the strongest, output compared to other services. So yes, great news for those that have Game Pass Ultimate.
Yeah, I agree. I think it is a strong week, and you highlight something really important, which we all talk about here, is subscribing to one service is like shooting yourself in the foot. You are going to miss out on something somewhere, and most of these subscriptions offer enough value that they're worth the money. So definitely having access to multiple services or platforms is a big deal because, like you said, all of a sudden games you've been wanting to play that you didn't buy show up somewhere else, and you can play them. So, Gamer TV. I know you're also an Xbox Cloud Gaming fan, and the service usually works really well for you. So what do you think about the games, and how's performance been for? I'm sure you played Extraction or any others.
Yeah, it's been fantastic actually. I mean, I have zero problems with xCloud. Death's Door, that was a game that I tried with touch controls. I think that's one of the biggest call outs I can make this week regarding Xbox and cloud. They're really killing it with touch controls. I mean, they're taking this cloud gaming thing pretty seriously. That's an entire process on its own to actually dig into the game and customize touch controls for it. And not to compare, but sorry, I think I have to. Touch controls on Stadia, by comparison, they just stink. When you play the same game, you're like, okay, I get it. It's an easy one-to-one connection instead of, hey, the triggers are up here with my thumbs. Yeah, you really have custom controls that work for hand position and whatnot, in the game. So, yeah, huge shout out to them. They're great.
Yeah, even though I'm not big into, mobile or touchscreen, it has been, like, when I do want to jump in quickly, it has been the best experience for me when it comes to touch controls. And my iPad the same way. I love it. I launch up the game, and then you can move your controls around on the iPad, how it's going to work good for you, and then you click them in and you're good to go. Yeah, they're putting a ton of work into it.
Yeah, super solid, super solid. I mean, the games were great this week. As Tito said, strongest week by far.
Definitely. Duncan, sir. I'm going to use sir again. I got to keep the ace mantra going. Xbox Cloud Gaming for you this week.
It was a week.
No bangers.
No bangers. No, absolutely class week for Xbox. See, what I do when I try and step out from the games on for Xbox this week, I think there's a couple of good ones, but overall for me, it's not games I would be really playing. I dipped into Rainbow Six Extraction on xCloud, and I was very, very pleasantly surprised in that it ran extremely well for me. They're dead on, and it's for me, xCloud just makes all these steps forward, on a weekly basis, and it's way past the good enough stage. It is, for me, it is perfectly and utterly playable. I know xCloud has a bit more of a interestingness for people. Some people it's completely utterly unplayable because they hate the Scottish, and I'm just trying to get a reaction, but xCloud's performance does seem to be a bit more inconsistent across different places, but for me, it is absolutely fine. The games Hitman 3, or it wasn't even just Hitman 3, the Hitman trilogy going absolutely great. I think it is worth touching on. Subscriptions are where things are going. You'll still be able to buy games. You look at the price point here. You've got Hitman 3 and Extraction. You buy them we'll go full price. That is your year's Xbox Game Pass, and it may not 100%, but we're in the ballpark of that. And I think that's where people need to start looking, going, is it going to be worth doing that or buying the games? For me, this is why subscriptions are going, and we're only in the beginning of the year, and we know what games are coming later this year for Game Pass and what games are going into the cloud. We've got our Game Pass this counter, so I think it's been a smashing week for Xbox this week. Even though not all the games are for me, but I'm going to echo what Fletch said here as well. Death's Door, go play that, and I think Maker's going to be saying that as well.
Yeah, a fantastic indie game, and I was happy to see it come, especially cloud console PC, because those really easy to run indie games like that, I'd love to be on my console now and just click play. I don't have to download it or take up any space. They run easy. They're just, the latency is usually really good because they are so easy to run, or you're less finicky about it. So those are the kind of games that I really like to stream on the console. TV went, sub first, and everybody was kind of against that and a little slow moving when it came to getting in. But now look at where we're at with that. We get some of the best content now because of all those different types of subscriptions to apps and stuff. And the quality of TV shows and movies keeps going up because of that. So the positive side of this could be the same thing for gaming that we're seeing, you know, across all these companies doing this similar thing with the subscription service and having that steady flow of money and giving people better content. So hopefully that's where we head with gaming with all these services.
Yeah, Jerry. Well, I'll just jump on the top of that as well, and just if you did go for the last 10, 20, even we can probably say 30 years, you can see gaming is always 2, 3, 4 years behind TVs and
Right.
and
Absolutely.
music. We've seen TV and music go digital. Then it was gaming. Then they went subscription, and now we're starting to see subscription on the gaming. There is just a bit of a lag there. Subscriptions are coming, and you'll still be able to buy your games just like your music, just like your
Right.
films and TV. But the vast majority of your content is going to be through your subscriptions going forward.
Yeah, I guarantee you most people subscribe to Spotify or Apple Music or whatever the case way more than they go out and buy CDs now, which I used to go to the store every weekend and go through the case, you know, all the cases and buy whatever CDs. Actually, back in my day, we were buying tapes and then CDs, but we won't we won't get into that. Holtz, what about you this week on Xbox Cloud Gaming?
Well, the game that I was really happy to see, and I don't think got mentioned, it was Danganronpa Happy Trigger Havoc. You know, I've not played this game since the Vita days, so seeing it come to cloud in an anniversary just really made me feel happy, because I've played the Danganronpas on like Geforce Now. It's a series that I was really happy to see come to cloud as well. And this series is a light novel, and it's about high school students that go to prestige school, and then this lovable sadistic white and black bear comes and gets the students to kill each other in a unique way. So you have to solve the murder mystery with the other students for them to escape the school. And the character design, the story, and the narrative, that is just amazing. If you like Disco Elysium, which is a Western title on visual novels and murder mystery, if you want to try something fun, then definitely try Danganronpa if you got Game Pass Ultimate. And because you'll be surprised and you'll be laughing your socks off all the way. And my niece, she loves, Pokemon Snap. So straight away when I seen Paparazzi, I thought to myself, this is a game where she can spend maybe a few hours just taking pictures of dogs and building it up. So I was really happy to see that one, not for myself, but for like a younger audience who actually are dog lovers or just like that whole like Instagram picture stuff. So they're the only two games that I was happy to see.
All right, well, good. I figured that's the Holtz type of games right there, so I am not surprised. Maker, what about you for Xbox?
Do you know what I'd say to you? Do you know what? Just get on there and see Monokuma, the bear, and you'll laugh your socks off. You'll be like, do you know what? Just a quick tip in, and you'll laugh, and you wonder why you're carrying on the game.
No, I love when you describe this stuff because I'll often go try all kinds of games that I normally wouldn't. So really cool. All right, Maker, what about you for this week on Xbox?
I do think this was a good week for Xbox. Of course, I've played Death's Door and I've beat it. I actually played it on GFN. Was when because they got a day and date on there, and I think some really good day and date titles, Paparazzi, Nobody Saves the World, and Rainbow Six Extraction, were all really good to get on the subscription service day one. Really making that subscription service worth it. So yeah, it's really good. Nobody Saves the World. I was a fan of Guacamelee, which so that's from the same developers. So I'm looking forward to trying that out and playing it at some point. But yeah, really good week.
Yeah, I think it was a really strong week for a really strong month. Actually, they probably had one of the best months for January out of everybody right now when it comes to games added to Game Pass. And of course, with the news that we'll be talking about of their purchase, which is about to make the value of Game Pass even more than it already is. So,
yeah, I also wanted to mention real quick that I do think Danganronpa was a little bit overlooked. I have a friend that loves those visual novels. It's kind of like a cult classic for a lot of people. And so that's a good get, as well as I forgot to mention Windjammers 2 was also a day and date title on there.
Curious on Death's Door, because I'm just now getting into it. I didn't beat it and I didn't look it up. About how long did it take your first playthrough for Death's Door?
For Death's Door?
Yeah.
I I can check real quick.
I have no idea how long that game is, but it's like one of those ones I really want to go through, but I have such limited time. So
I think it only took me maybe 8 to 10 hours. I'll be able to tell
that's
you.
what I had for Metroid Dread. I think I was like 9, 10 hours, something like that for the main part.
Wasn't too long. I just
I'll say for Xbox Cloud Gaming for myself while you're looking at that, it's for me, like I said, probably strongest out of anybody for the whole month. Death's Door, Hitman Trilogy, and Rainbow Six Extraction for me are my big ones on there. I played and beat Hitman 3 when it came out. I think it was, well, for me, it was the best Hitman of the series, and I know other people did like 1 and 2 better. For me, I don't know. Hitman 3 was more approachable. I really like it, and it's playing good on xCloud. I don't know if anybody else here has tried Hitman. Nobody's really mentioned it a lot here while we were going through the games.
My brother was playing it a little bit yesterday, actually, and I want to play it. I've actually never played any of the games, so that's also what made this week really great for me.
Oh yeah, that's a great ad for the Hitman trilogy. And look, I couldn't finish 1 and 2. Like I attempted them a little bit before, and I don't know if it's me that's changed or the game, but Hitman 3 drew me in, and I went through the whole thing. Anybody else here go all the way through Hitman 3 or play the whole series? It's I could read your lips.
I think I've sort of played a couple of hours of 3, still yet to jump into it. So sort of jumped into a bit with xCloud, and yeah, it runs really well on there. So I'll probably have to give it a bit more of a go. It was one of the games that I had to uninstall for my Series X. So now that I was on cloud, I'll definitely give it more of a go.
I did want to say I looked it up. 9.6 hours for Death's Door.
Okay, yeah, no, that's not bad at all. That's great for a solid indie like that. So yeah, I'll keep at it then. I can make that. If a game's like less than 10 hours, I'll kind of keep going, because with work and the channels and everything, it's like I only have so much time. And when I'm looking at the 50, the 80, the 200-hour games, I start to crumble just a little bit these days compared to before. But
I'll answer the Hitman one. People may have read what I've said. I think Hitman is a game which it has its audience, it knows its audience, and plays up to it as well. I think you either get really sucked into it, or you think it's the biggest load of nonsense going. And I mean, it's the biggest load of nonsense going. It just frustrates the life out from me. And it should be right up my alley, sneaking about and all that. Because when I play Assassin's Creed, I try and play it as an assassin, believe it or not, not trying to jump in and stuff like that. But Hitman, I just can't deal with it at all.
It's definitely a different kind of experience that it can be frustrating, and that's what turned me off of the first 2, but somehow I made it through the third one. Does anybody else have anything else they want to add for Xbox Cloud this week or in general for them? No, we're good.
Yeah. I want to quickly say, jump on Danganronpa, tell the developers Holt sent you, so when Nippon Ichi come over and bring more games, you say Holt helped that catalog, because I would love to see Disgaea and all that come over to Game Pass. So just all flood over there.
I thought they had one of his desk guys at one point.
He had 4 and 5, and then he took it off. But great time to actually get them back on, especially when Game Pass is expanding to the east. So come on, all jump on board, and we'll see where it goes.
So that brings up an interesting point, since we have an extra minute for like all of cloud really, but especially like Xbox Cloud Gaming, because I know one of the big things we all always say is as soon as they add purchases, that's it, right? Because then now you could purchase your Xbox games and have them on cloud or console or PC. And so what, like, for games like that leave, right? Every subscription service, whether it's TV and games or whatever, games leave. Luckily with Microsoft, the exclusives stay, and third party could come and go as they please. What do you guys think about that going forward? How important are purchases to help offset that kind of turns off customers where like, oh, my game's going to be leaving, and they only play on cloud? So how important do you think it is for Xbox to get those purchases rolling, maybe even this year, to close that loop?
Well, my first game was last year, was Dragon Quest XI. I knew that was going to leave sometime, so I never bought it on Xbox. I bought it on Stadia, which if Xbox gave me the choice to play it on cloud and then I had to purchase it and I got a cloud version free, I would have been all up for it. So they need to bring this feature ASAP, because I've got loads of games, even Yakuza's. They came and some of them went.
Oh, I know. I saw.
So And these games are huge. You know, if you want to spend 50 to hundreds of hours playing this series. So to me, they are games that I'll be interested that they need to bring as a purchase and cloud straight away, ASAP.
Got you. Maker, what about you?
I'll be honest, I don't think it's that important. I think gamers are fickle, and they will move to the next best thing. And I think you'll see that with, if they keep rolling out these day and date titles. That's the main thing, is providing new content to a lot of users. I think purchases can wait a year or two. I don't think it's like a high priority on their list, in my opinion.
All right. Yeah, I think the perspective will just kind of depend on how dependent you are on cloud, right? As to how badly you want that feature to come. Fletch, what about you for adding purchases to xCloud to close that loop?
I don't think it's something they need to put in imminently. I think that they need to eventually. Someone like me who has a massive back catalogue of over 500 titles on Xbox, I'd love to be able to bring those without having to remote play from my console. But other than that, sort of like sort of Maker said, sort of gamers are very fickle and they will just move on to the next best thing. So a lot of the time you will see a couple of people go, "Oh, it's leaving. That's really annoying." But then a lot of other people will just be like, "Oh, Extraction's come. I'm just going to jump on that now." So it's something they do need to implement, but it's nothing that's holding it back at the moment.
Right. Yeah, that makes sense. Tito, what about you on that?
Definitely is not their priority for obvious reasons, several reasons. Probably, they have production plans for the consoles that they still want to sell. So, the cloud, obviously, they are proving that they're really committed to improve their cloud gaming services, but it's not their priority. However, I think a lot of people will love it. As we know, sport games, Maiden, NBA, FIFA is no exception, which is on this cloud gaming service that is slowly dying. But there is a lot of people who only play NBA, only play FIFA, only play Maiden. If there was one service where you could buy the game and play it, it will bring a lot of people. Of course, someone will say, "Oh, you can buy FIFA and play it on Stadia," but then you are playing against yourself because there is literally no one to play with. But imagine if you could buy FIFA or NBA or Maiden and play with any other Xbox and PC player, right? That will be massive. But again, it's not I'm sure it's not the priority. It will happen probably when the service improves further, because I will not be happy if I buy a game to play it on xCloud and it performs as it does now, which is not bad, but it's still behind Stadia and Geforce Now when it comes to input lag and picture quality.
I think that's a good point, and I think that's why we still have that beta tag from Xbox, and I think that's why xCloud is still free with Ultimate, right? They just tossed that in there when it came out for people to start trying it, because the more people that try it, the more they can collect data and improve it and so on. And you're right, it's still so inconsistent for so many people that if you were to take it out of beta or offer purchases and then your $60 game didn't work, you could definitely run into some issues with that. So that's a fantastic point. Duncan, I know you got something to say about xCloud purchases.
I'm, believe it or not, I'm at the opposite end of everybody else here. I think short term it's more important to get that on board, to give a bit of a fallback, because Xbox's long game is Game Pass. Obviously, we're going to be touching on that shortly. And on the top of that as well, we're going to see all these fragmentation of cloud services going down the line. That's why we're seeing so much consolidation. So for me, the purchases is more a short-term thing, and longer term, it is about subscription, and just getting people into that. So again, that's where I differ slightly from everybody, but I think we all are broadly in agreement that subscriptions is where people are, or where Microsoft is wanting people to go with xCloud.
Yeah, definitely subscriptions and cloud for sure. My screen just went a little nutty here. Can you guys still hear me okay?
You sound like a robot.
All right.
Yeah,
It's Robot Jerry again.
Is it?
No, you're better now.
You don't do it to me. Don't do it.
You're good.
Yeah,
You're better now. It's not robot.
StreamYard's just telling us we're a little unstable and everything went off and came back. But all right. Gamer, any thoughts on purchases for xCloud? I know your experience is kind of like up there, and I know over on the West Coast you're probably closest to the best servers for Microsoft, so
Yeah.
you do tend to get the best experience of
it's
anybody
great.
I know. But what do you think about purchases for xCloud? Would you like that?
You know, that's a tough one. I'm not. I guess I don't truly have a solid opinion on it. I think they can do with it or do without it. For them, why? You know, I can't see a huge reason why to go that route, especially when you have the hardware out there, and everyone believes hardware will be obsolete at some point, but I'm not one of those people. I think they'll continue making hardware, whatever that might be or however that might look. I think Game Pass has, proven its value the way it is. It's like, what, 23 million subs, or like, what is it? Some
It's over
ridiculous
25.
number. Over 25.
Yeah, 25,
Holy,
yeah.
like, why change it? just make the service better and keep doing what you do. So
Right.
there's no need to pivot this. Just keep doing what you do, make it better.
Yeah, I'm also in the camp that local hardware probably doesn't ever go away. We may not be able to envision exactly what it is yet, but I don't think it ever really truly goes away. And I'm also in the camp of I don't think they need to rush into the purchases for xCloud, but it is something that just I would love to see. Just because I know a lot of people want to see it there, but I wouldn't want to see it come and then do bad to the service or give it a bad name because it didn't work out properly. And for me, cloud is still an add-on, right? I still have my PCs and my PS5, and I play locally most of the time, but cloud is there for me when, wife wants TV or wife wants this computer, or we're going to do something and I have a little time, or I'm waiting in an office. Cloud fills all these spaces where all of a sudden you fast forward a year and I have fit in just dozens and dozens more hours of gaming that I wouldn't have been able to if I was still just tied to my boxes at home, even though that's the experience I prefer most of the time. So I don't think that's really Xbox's priority yet either, but it will come eventually as cloud gets better.
Can you imagine the work? I mean, there's so much work that goes into this. It isn't like they're a Stadia where they're starting this year, right? And everything's going to be for sale in the cloud and for purchase. They have a back catalog. Where do you stop this thing?
Yeah.
Is it, okay, all games from 2022 and on will be in the cloud and for purchase? There's no way in hell I'd go back and bring old titles to the cloud.
Well, as a trial feature, I mean, maybe they could actually give me, where I've already bought the game and then it came to cloud and then it's going to get removed, maybe they can keep whoever's got Game Pass and the game access to the cloud feature. So, for example, I bought Scarlet Nexus. 2 months later, it came to cloud. It's going to get removed soon. So maybe you can actually switch it off to everyone else. Because I've already purchased and got Game Pass, maybe I can keep the cloud feature as a beta feature.
It could be, and their backwards compatibility has ended too, and I think for similar reasons. They said not only did they bring most of the games that were asked for, but they've done about as many games as they can do that they're allowed to do, like with rights and like what Gamer's talking about. There's only so much you can do. They even had to take their own exclusive off of Game Pass with Motorsport 7. Forza Motorsport, I think it was more because of the music and stuff. Let me tell you that mistake will not happen again because their vision now will account for all those things moving forward. But yeah, there'll be a ton of work to do. I still think we wake up one morning though, and like I think it was Fletch that said he had like 500 games in the Xbox catalog, which has got me beat. I got like 348 or something like that. He'll wake up one morning and like 200 and some of those will all of a sudden be available in cloud because some deals were made, because some things are moving along. I think it'll be kind of a surprise thing where like we woke up and the Series X blades were working all of a sudden and we didn't even know when those were coming. So
I also wonder about the data storage, because like theoretically they would probably have to store the data for all these games in each data center to make it efficient. So to me, it's like, do you fulfill the entire all the games, or are you going to focus just on the games that are coming to Game Pass and leaving? So
that makes sense, right? Because with Game Pass, you know exactly how many games, what storage, what's going to happen. As soon as you add purchases, it's going to be a lot harder to gauge and have the capacity needed to run all of these different instances and store all those games for everybody. especially with Xbox's player base, it's huge. So if all of a sudden you have millions of people buying games in the cloud and trying to play, yeah, the logistics there are they're pretty insane.
I'm sure they're looking at it and trying to weigh the options.
Oh yeah, definitely. I think all of the moves that they make are pretty methodical and thought out. Xbox doesn't want another stumble like they had in 2013, so they seem to be doing really, really well with their decision making since then. Speaking of which, if nobody has anything else for Xbox Cloud Gaming, we're going to get into the 3 topics. Ace was supposed to be back by now, by the way, just so everybody knows. This is the second half of the show, and the king has not returned yet. So I'm going to keep the keys for a little bit longer. Where's he putting what, Duncan? Where's he pointing?
It's like a game of charades. We have to guess.
Yes.
What's that?
Yes, we've got another platform.
We have another platform. It's not on the notes. Where are your notes?
Oh, we're not. Oh, okay. I
What
haven't looked at the
platform?
notes. Well, haven't talked about it.
It says
Stadia?
there's no Stadia news this week.
Okay.
So, and look, honestly, it's been quiet on the Stadia front, I think is why. And we're waiting for the TWOS, right?
Yeah, I was
Next
just going to give a bit of a heads up. This is just me just saying it. I'm not making any comment on it. Rainbow Six came absolutely brilliant. There is something to note with Stadia. If you needed to go for a hit and miss or something, you go to the toilet, you want to make a cup of tea or go down for a cup of coffee, you had 15 minutes idle time. It's now cut to 10 minutes. I don't think there should be anything too much read into that. I see like a big comment, which got me thinking, I think it's probably right. It might be they've ran the numbers. If people are idle at 10 minutes, they probably will be idle at 15 minutes. So I think they've just cut down that. So I think it is worth mentioning that. So there we go. We'll move on.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, yeah, that could mean nothing. I mean, it could mean we don't really know if they're trying to do anything with capacity, or like you said, if they've run numbers and statistically people that are gone 10 minutes are like 90% don't come back at that 15-minute point. So they're like, you know what, we'll just cut it down. Now, I'm moving into what our next topic is going to be, talking mostly about Rainbow Six Extraction. And moving into that, though, since we didn't have much Stadia news to go over, has anybody here played Rainbow Six Extraction on Stadia, and what was your experience like? I know Holtz didn't, because he didn't play Extraction at all yet.
Yeah,
Maker, did you?
I
No, shaking head.
I pre-ordered it and I got me points and I was going to get a platinum for the Google Play. And then when I heard the news that it was on Game Pass, I just thought, well, I better save money this year. So I cancelled it and played it on, well, I'm going to play it on Game Pass. But it was something that I was invested in going to do before it came free.
So you don't have Ubisoft Plus or Connect or whatever the sub, right?
I did try it for 2 months, but I was always that type of person where I thought Ubisoft games go on sale too fast. And then when I worked out the yearly numbers for what games are coming this year, I thought it's better if I just wait and see these games go on sale. I didn't really see a value in Ubisoft Plus, but I did have it for 2 months.
All right. Did anybody play Rainbow?
Yeah, I played it.
All
I
right.
played it on Stadia for a few hours.
Okay.
4K mode, resolution mode is unplayable for me. 30 frames per second, and it dips below that quite frequently. So, when you take it off of resolution mode and you go into frame rate mode, it's much better. But then it becomes a very dry experience per se, and you're kind of just enjoying the mechanics of the game. You aren't really enjoying the full immersion of the game, and that's become very important to me as I work closer with today's developers and studios. They're all about the experience, the full experience, the immersion of the game. It's almost like they really want to pull you in as a player. And when you have to start stripping away at that, the further and further and further away you get from the intended experience. So I'm all on board with what gives me the intended experience today. And if you experience the intended experience somewhere else, you're going to say, holy shit, there's no way I can play this.
Yeah, and I agree, because that's the same with all forms of entertainment. Movies, games, there's a certain aspect, a certain level of pulling you into the experience that when you start to strip away at those things, it kind of ruins that form of entertainment for you.
Yeah. And for those
Fletch,
who
what-
don't understand like exactly what I mean, like just imagine everything on ultra settings, right? All the particles, all of the effects, and you turn a corner and there's like a mist all over the place, and you can barely see into the next room. Versus turning the corner and everything is like super clear and crystal clean, right?
Yeah,
There are differences.
yeah, and I've often had people come to me and say, "Well, those lower settings look so much better," and I'm like,
Yeah.
because you can see the whole room. So I get that you're scared when you go into that dark room, and the lower settings just kind of makes everything look the same. But when you crank those up, you get that. You can almost smell that mist, right? You can almost
Yeah.
feel that when you walk into the room, right?
Immersive, yeah.
Yeah, it's a big difference for sure. That's a good point.
It's kind of like when you go to Cyberpunk and you see those neon lights and the glow, the steam coming off the streets. Playing on super high settings is a different experience than playing on medium to low.
Yeah.
Oh, for sure, for sure. That's another game. That's a great example of that. I love playing that game just completely maxed out. Even if I got to take the frame rate hit a little bit, it looks so gorgeous.
Level detail is important.
Absolutely. Fletch, were you going to say something about Stadia and Extraction?
Yeah. So I've played it for a bit on there, and
Okay.
xCloud as well, and obviously Geforce Now. With the Stadia version, it's very weird. It is definitely running at sort of medium settings, especially compared to something like xCloud. It's actually running it with a lot more texture detail and particle effects than on Stadia. And sort of I did that comparison between the 1080p streams, and xCloud definitely trumps it in that department. And with xCloud becoming better in terms of technology and latency, it's becoming very hard to recommend buying a game on Stadia compared to just playing it on Game Pass, especially if you've got Ubisoft Connect as well, like I do. Sort of, even though I have that subscription, I'm looking more and more at sort of ending that, especially if Ubisoft are looking into putting more games onto Game Pass.
Definitely. And they're bringing Ubisoft Plus to Xbox, but not Game Pass necessarily. So we'll see how that winds up working down the road, because I would like to see them also have something that does similar to EA, where they would bring, even if not all the same games or day one games, a selection of their games more to Game Pass than they already have.
Yeah, I reckon that with Ubisoft Plus coming to Xbox, I reckon that Extraction sort of their trial period, see how it performs on Game Pass, and then either they'll lump it on and put the Game Pass price up, or they'll add it on as an optional, like $5, $10 on top of Game Pass. That's less than the sole Ubisoft Plus price, but slightly less to sort of package it in. And I think that sort of, I think we'll see more of that sort of going through sort of halfway through the year. We'll see a lot more in terms of Ubisoft.
Yeah, I think so too. Ubisoft's going everywhere, so it won't be a surprise. Anybody else get to try Extraction on Stadia? Nobody. All right.
Yeah, I'll just jump in here. I think it's with Extraction being on Game Pass. I think that is one of the first big games, which is giving you the proper option. I know we had Outriders last year and things like that, but this is a big, massive game since the Series X has been upgraded, and plus when you add into the 3080, or you'll be able to play it on GFN on the 3080 because of the wee oopsie or accidentally on purpose sort of thing. This is just showing the power of the subscriptions, and it didn't even cross my mind to buy it in Stadia. That was even before, because of it going on the Game Pass, and I think that is the position where Stadia is and what they're going to be competing against. And we've seen in the game with not only just Extraction, Maker was doing a bit of trolling earlier with Windjammers. Windjammers is going to Stadia. I'm happy enough that it is coming to Stadia. It has been delayed. That's okay. That's been announced. But that's what you're going up against. It's all these games are going to these different services where it's just competition. And competition is good for us as a consumer.
Oh yeah, competition is definitely heating up, and with the things we've been seeing with purchases lately and stuff like that, it's only going to get more competitive for content. That's what everything's going to be about. Especially starting this year, we're going to see some crazy stuff happen. To finish out for Rainbow Six Extraction, for those of you who played it in more than one spot, which I don't know who all here played it in more than one platform. I'll do with the hand. I can't see Gamer's hand, but I know he did. 1, 2, 3. Okay. So starting with Fletch, where did you prefer playing the game at?
Personally, for me, GFN played it the best, obviously, of all the cloud platforms. Very close, though, was xCloud. I couldn't falter it. Sort of, if you've got a hardwired connection for xCloud and can play it on PC or an Xbox, I would definitely recommend it. I know that, like a lot of people on mobile, I have a bit of issues with xCloud still. But in terms of hardwiring the connection, it's flawless. And then sort of at the bottom, unfortunately, is Stadia. Just in terms of texture detail, the stream, obviously, Stadia's technology, you can't fault that. It works, and it works well. But in terms of texture quality and what you want to be immersed in the game, it's definitely the weaker of the lot, unfortunately.
Yeah, definitely. Gamer, what about you? I know you played in multiple places, and I think I know what you're going to say, but where did you prefer Extraction?
GFN all day, every day, man. It's no question. 120, 1440, ultra everything. You cannot beat that at all. So I tried it everywhere, believe me, but it would have to be I had a line exactly with Fletch, right? It's GFN, xCloud, Stadia. Well, I'm sorry, no, let me take that back. It's GFN, Luna, xCloud, Stadia.
Got you. Who else somebody else raised their hand that played Extraction? Duncan? Are you does the dance mean yes?
Yes, the dance means yes. I want to hear more from Tito and Fletch because
I know
I'm talking far too much, but you know what I'm like. Just everybody wants me to shut up, so I annoy everybody. I played on xCloud and on GFN. I've said this before, and I will say this until things change. GFN is just hands down the best cloud service now. If you're on the 3080 tier, it is absolutely miles clear. And that if I have to buy a game, remember, we're going to be touching on the clever language later. I'm just getting people used to clever language. If I have to buy a game, clever language.
Clever language. That's why Duncan's gone quiet.
Yes, exactly. Because we're going to be coming on to Phil Spencer's tweet, and there's very, very clever language in that. If I have to buy a game, it is GFM. That's where I want to buy it. If it is available on xCloud, I will play it on xCloud because of the subscription. xCloud is completely and utterly playable. It is spot on for me. I do not mind playing on xCloud, but GFN is hands down absolutely the best.
Yeah, I would agree. The 1440, 120, 3080 for Extraction, when I didn't have my few little hiccups here and there, was by far, especially latency and everything, the best experience for Extraction. Then I would say xCloud for me for visuals, right? The Series X version looks way better than the Stadia version, but I was just getting slightly better latency with Stadia than I was with xCloud in this particular game. Not enough to where either one, xCloud wasn't playable. They're both very playable, especially in that game. PvP, I don't care. I don't play almost any cloud when it comes to PvP, but for that experience of PvE, they were both good. But I think Stadia was a little better on latency, xCloud a lot better on visuals, and then Luna did fine for me, but for some reason I'm having some hiccups here lately the past few days with Luna, with some skipping around and stuff. So I got to go back into that and try it again, because normally for me Luna is right up there, working extremely well. So might have been just getting hit a little hard or something. So we'll check that out. All right, so we're done with Extraction unless anybody else has anything to add, and we're going to get to what I think is the juicy part that I've been waiting, an hour and 18 minutes to get to, because like Fletch, I'm a big Xbox fan. I have been for 20 years since the OG Xbox, and I didn't like a lot of what they did in the Xbox One lifetime there, but we've corrected from that, and we're doing much better. So Microsoft purchases Activision Blizzard. Lot that we can discuss here. I think I'll start with you, Holtz. You've been chilling up there because you didn't have much to talk about with Extraction, but I hope you do give it a shot soon. So just initially off the bat, what are your thoughts with this enormous $68 billion purchase of Microsoft?
Oh, I love it. I was doing backflips here in the news because over the years, a lot of people are like, oh, Xbox doesn't have no studios, blah, blah, blah. And now here they come out with their big wad of cash going, really? We'll buy anything that wants to work with us. And to me, it was a big, huge win for them. And I hope they actually, to me, I'm not really bothered about Call of Duty or Apex Legends. I hope them games go across many platforms. But I would love to see like Crash Bandicoot, Spyro, Prototype, Guitar Hero. I would love all them games to be Xbox exclusive. So I really hope that they actually reel these games in, especially on clouds, as soon as possible. And because I see Game Pass as a great value, not just for me, but for everyone. So I hope that we can all see these games like Bethesda or Activision Blizzard, and we all decide to go with Game Pass because I think they're so consumer friendly the way they've been doing this approach. So I think it's a big, huge win.
Yeah, I would definitely agree. Tito, what do you think about this acquisition by Microsoft? Do you see it as a good thing? You like it?
Well, if I'm no, I don't like it. Simple as that. Mind you, I have an Xbox Series X, but the thing with Game Pass is that it keeps getting better and better and better and better, and I don't like it. Because at some point it's going to get more expensive. So that's the main reason why I don't like it. It's, I mean, I don't know what to say. They keep buying big studios. They granted themselves big titles that everyone wants to play. We don't know what's going to happen. I guess some games they will keep them open for other platforms. Others they will keep them as exclusive, or maybe they will make some type of a temporary exclusive thing. But I mean, I don't know what they're doing too much. As a Series X owner, I'm happy with Xbox losing the consoles war. Because then Microsoft has to do more and more and more. And cheaper. But they are doing too much. They are doing too much. They should relax a little bit. They don't need to win the consoles war so early.
Let me put a little food for thought, because I agree with you about the price hikes eventually, right? Because as we get more value in the service. But let me just throw this out there, because Dr. Spaceman Media, right? He's not here today. He comes on the podcast sometimes. He made a pretty interesting point. He said, what if Microsoft's plan is to get so many subscribers that instead of having to raise the price, they're able to lower it and increase the value to gamers? Now, that sounds insane, but it's possible when you talk about subscriber counts. I'm not saying I agree with it. I'm just saying that was put out there for some food for thought.
Well, I feel Game Pass is a better price than the likes of GameFly, or even if you buy a $70 game and actually trade it in. I feel like Game Pass gives you more value than even trade-ins. So I feel it's a win.
Definitely, but the thing with Game Pass is there is a lot of people who's buying Game Pass subscriptions for 1 year or for 20 euros or 30 euros. They just, I think I can say it because, you can find it on the internet. They buy a Game Pass Ultimate subscriptions from Brazil or Turkey, 1 year, 20 euros, 30 euros. Microsoft knows people is doing it. Microsoft obviously is happy about people doing it because they want to, increase the number of subscribers. But at some point, they have to generate profit. Again, what Dr. Spaceman said is right, but I mean, I don't have the numbers to know if they will be able to lower the price because they have so many subscribers, or if they will have to increase the price because they have been spending in a crazy way.
Sorry.
We have to be on our best behavior now.
Yeah,
I can breathe now. I can breathe.
Oh man!
I did want to mention one thing now that we're covering this. There are also other ways to make that revenue through the games on Game Pass, like take Sea of Thieves or Halo Infinite with microtransactions. They're going to be able to make, by giving a larger access to these games to more people. That means more people are buying microtransactions, and they'll be making more money through that. That's why games like Fortnite and like even mobile games, they're free to access, but so many people are playing them and so many people are using them that they just consistently give money to that developer.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. But then there is another question, which is, okay, we know those games or studios that they are buying, they bring super popular games, but we don't know how, the next games, the next, the next Call of Duty is going to do, right? So as a fan of paying as less as possible for my games, I'm not happy because Game Pass is getting so good But I think at some point they're going to increase the price, and I don't like it.
I mean, it's fair. It's a fair guess, but we never know.
I hope it gets that big. It forces PlayStation's hand to bring us day and date exclusives. That's how selfish I am, because I want PlayStation to up the ball, because Microsoft's running away with it.
Good conversation pieces, man. Go ahead, Duncan.
No, I was going to say, if no one's speaking, everybody's waiting for Ace to speak.
I'm done. It's up to Ace now, baby.
Good show, man. It was trying to catch some of it, but where are we at in the show notes?
We're in the Microsoft purchase of Activision, and we just got started with that with Tito and Maker there.
Okay, cool. Anyone else hop on? Thank you so much, GTP, for covering, man. Good stuff.
Yep.
Really appreciate it. Great.
I think GTP, you killed it, man. But I think it's a great thing, and honestly, I wouldn't care if they made everything exclusive. Yeah, it's anti-consumer, I know, but everything is anti-consumer. Every single thing. The chair that we're sitting in, it's all anti-consumer. You know why? Because it costs $20 to make it, and you probably paid $150. So if we talk about anti-consumer, everything is anti-consumer. Exclusive content is very important. We see it in TV. So why isn't it fair for games? Well, because gamers are a little more vocal, a little more passionate, a little more committed to their platform, right? We aren't necessarily too committed to television and TV platforms. We aren't. I mean, you do have diehard Sony guys, diehard Samsung guys, right? But everything, platform-wise is kind of open and works on anything. But with game consoles, I know it's all locked. And that's why we're a little more passionate. But I wouldn't care if everything was exclusive.
So question real quick. Did we talk about how does this affect the competition?
Not yet. We're just not yet. Yep.
Cool. All right, let's get into that, man. Because again, this like I stated, is a boss move, right? And we know that Microsoft has said, they're looking at Amazon and Google as their competitors, right? So this right here, we had the Bethesda deal, which kind of took some wind out of Google Stadia. I was stated, when that report came out. So for this right now, this acquisition, what does it mean for Google Stadia, for one? What does it mean for Amazon Luna? What does it mean for Sony? We know they're cooking up Spartacus, right? How do the competitors react to this, right? And just want to know for you guys on the panel, do you see this as something that just puts them above the competition, or do you think there's a way for Google, Amazon, or PlayStation Now to counter this and to bounce back from it? Anyone can hop on here.
Well, Ace, my opinion is that, of course, they can try to bounce back, but I don't think they should jump onto this game. Or you buying some studios, I'm going to buy it as well. No, they should. Obviously, all of them are making calculated decisions,
right?
And I don't think just because Microsoft is impressing the whole world, it'd be a bit dangerous. Considering that not every division or gaming or cloud gaming division or whatever you want to call it,
right,
they don't have the same budget. We don't know actually which budget each company has. Mm-hmm. So some of them probably cannot afford it. Yeah, Amazon. Oh, is Amazon behind Luna? Yeah, but maybe their budget is quite small. Like it probably happens with the Stadia, right? Mm-hmm. We don't know what's going on, but it seems obvious that their budget now is even lower than what it was in 2020.
Right.
So all I know is that Game Pass is amazing, man. It's getting better, and let's see what the rest of them do. But I will not be, if I was PlayStation, for instance, or if I was handling PlayStation, if I was the CEO, I will not be so quick to say, okay, I gotta buy Electronic Arts, I gotta buy Ubisoft or whatever is next.
Right.
Because I mean, let's put it in this way. PlayStation has a powerful big brother, right, which is Sony. But Microsoft or Xbox has a much stronger brother, which is Microsoft. So I don't think everyone has the same ability to go all their way to buy these super big studios. because not all of them have the same budget for sure.
Yeah, but that's a great point. But we know the other two, right? Amazon and Google has the pockets. So
We don't know what are the Google Pockets. Google Pockets is full of holes.
yeah, so
where are they spending the money?
from a financial perspective, we know they're $1 trillion
Yeah.
company, right? If gaming
Yeah.
means a lot to them, we know that they'll invest. But the thing is, they're not investing, which tells us a lot, right?
Yeah.
But if they wanted to, they can. And so this,
They wanted to.
it's like this shows that everyone is up for sale, right? EA can be next, Capcom can be next, right? Do we see this as a thing where like Amazon's gonna go looking for the next Activision, right? Do you see these third party dev remaining independent, or do you see, them being grabbed up because of this, right? Does this shake the competitive space?
I would say it's already been shaken. It's been that way for the past like 2 years. Tencent consistently buying studios in the East.
Yeah.
You've got Sony got five of those studios last year. So it's here. It's officially now. Like Duncan had said prior, it's similar to how the video streaming kind of service has been. You start to see the consolidation. Disney bought Marvel, they bought Lucas Arts.
Right.
This is what we've come to. Is you're going to see consolidation. You're going to see Sony buy more studios. You'll probably, Nintendo bought a studio, I think, last year as well. I know they bought the Luigi's Mansion developer. Was it 2020, I believe, or 2021? But in my opinion, I don't think this purchase actually affects one competitor, and that's Nintendo. Nintendo doesn't really get any Activision or Blizzard titles on their platform at all.
Yeah.
So,
but like moving forward, if the game is acquisition, like Duncan says, content is king, right? And if subscription model is the way going forward, like we're seeing with this move, right? Eventually, I'm assuming that most companies are going to be bought up. So I know Nintendo doesn't get a lot of Activision game, but think about like if EA is, acquired by who knows, Amazon. Let's just guess that, right? That's another company that's not going to have the games done. So do we see that this is like a thing to be concerned about moving forward, right? Where all these good third-party devs are being acquired to where it's all about that exclusive game moving forward. Is this a concern, or is this a good thing for gaming as a whole?
What I'm sure is that this won't be the last super big acquisition. I don't know who's going to be next. Maybe PlayStation, but for sure it won't be the last. That's for sure.
Right.
I think we see with oh, sorry, Duncan, you go first.
No, you go, because I talk too much. You go.
Yep. I think what we see with sort of Xbox doing this large acquisition is it'll definitely be pushing the likes of Amazon and Google to rethink their strategies in terms of how they're going to attack the space. I know they haven't done much at the moment, but it will be, if they haven't got alarm bells ringing, they should be already. Like Phil Spencer says, in terms of sort of Sony and Nintendo, he knows they don't have the budget for large acquisitions like it, and they know that they wouldn't sort of take away large third parties. And that has been stated multiple times. So I'm assuming that sort of the reason why he's worried more about Google and Amazon is because they're not afraid to go out and buy an EA. They have the money there. They got more of a market capital. They will do it if they need to. So I think that's more the worry, and it will become that content war. And if we don't see it soon, it will be down the future, especially when cloud becomes more explosive within the industry, especially with all these sort of plans we're seeing with TV, sort of partnerships being made. I wouldn't be surprised soon if we do see acquisitions coming from someone like Amazon.
Okay, fair enough. Thanks, Flush. Anyone else with this topic?
Yeah, Yes, I will do what you're fishing for, and I will say it, and I will get the blame as per usual. This affects absolutely everyone. If this is affecting PlayStation, and PlayStation fans are up in arms about it,
Right.
by F word, it is affecting Luna and Stadia as well. It is affecting absolutely.
You can say whatever you want to say
Yes.
there. Go
Uh,
ahead.
This is an absolute massive sort of purchase out there. It is only
Yeah.
the start. For me, everybody's talking EA. I'm of the opinion that if EA is going to go, it's going to go with a Take-Two or another, or go with Ubisoft. I don't see EA being bought by we'll go for a publish, or what was it, a platform holder like an Amazon or Google, Xbox or PlayStation, just because they are so reliant on FIFA, which is a multi-platform game which has licenses involved. That's the difference between that and the Call of Duty. There will be things there where they have to go on to all the different platforms. So that I'm just moving to EA. From there, exclusives are going to matter. And will this be a good deal or a bad deal? It is going to be really hard to see. It all depends what Microsoft do with the studios and the IP that they're going to have. This could reinvigorate Call of Duty to make it absolutely brilliant again, because I remember Call of Duty back in the day. I went and bought it every single year, and now I've dropped off that because I don't think it's as good anymore. Other people are. This deal is absolutely massive. It has so much potential out there for Microsoft, because with Activision, they have the gas games there, which they can bring back. Just like there's so much IP. They could bring back Skylanders, they could bring back Guitar Hero. Plus, they'll have the single player games with Crash and Sparrow. This is just absolutely nuts, and this is going to send shockwaves across the whole industry, and it's going to get the super acquisitions going again.
Right. So let's talk about the cloud, and let's be specific, right? Google Stadia. What do you see them doing after this announcement? Like, just be real, right? Do you see them going? We're going to talk about like Amazon as well, right? Do you see them making purchases, and do you think this is kind of the nail in the coffin, right? We knew the damage that Bethesda deal did for them. How do they bounce back from this? What could or what should they do to try and bounce back from this?
I reckon Stadia will do the same as they have always done, sort of take the slow road, not do much, unfortunately. In terms of Luna, I think they'll do more. So I think we'll see that starting to ramp up this year. We've already seen the marketing sort of at the Game Awards. They're trying to push it more, and I wouldn't be surprised if we see expansion or more larger titles going into the service as well. Definitely one to keep an eye on sort of this year, personally. But yeah, with Stadia, unless they do something bigger, which I'm very sort of doubtful for at the moment. I think it's going to be a sort of another 2021 of just a lull, really, until they sort of decide what they want to do with the service. If that is doing something. I know Duncan mentioned it earlier about the Ubisoft partnership, and that was with GameStream, the French company, and sort of that third-party aspect, white labeling solution. And if they're partnering with GameStream for that white label, why aren't they partnering with Stadia for white label? So it's going to be an interesting year to see what they do, but sort of looking around at different areas like Xbox, Luna, they're all progressing a lot quicker than what Stadia needs to do. And if alarm bells aren't ringing now, I don't know if they will continue at a fast pace anymore, unfortunately.
Okay, fair enough.
Yeah, I agree with that sentiment. I think Google, they have a big decision on their hands this financial year. I think when they come up to the table and talk to the big guys at Alphabet, they have to decide, are they going to invest in this platform and make it a competitive platform against Sony, against Xbox, against all these other big companies, Amazon, and we'll see what they do in the long run. If they do want to double down, like take Xbox, the Xbox One era. It took like Game Pass before they said we're going to double down on this. We're going to work on this,
Right.
and it changed their perception.
Right.
It changed the look of it. And Stadia they need to do something similar. Invest heavily into the platform with titles, with exclusives, with content for their users.
Right.
For it to really succeed. Amazon, I already see them making statements about how gaming is critical for them, and that they're sticking with developing games. So I could easily see them purchase one of these studios. Maybe not EA, but I could definitely see them buying maybe a Capcom or a Sega. Sega would be probably pretty prime for someone to grab.
Right. But so you see it that way, right? Where they'll still try to produce first-party studio games, but then in order to compete, acquire others, right? Microsoft tried to do first-party for quite some time. Sony kicked the behinds, right? That's where you see them, be aggressive with, acquiring studios. For Amazon to be competitive, right? We talk about content's key here. Again, if they're trying to make Luna like Prime, which again, exclusive is important to them, Prime, do you see them picking other people up too? Or do you see them just really trying to push the first party studio stuff only?
Oh, that's a tough one. I'm not sure. I think someone else help me out.
GTP, let's get to you, man.
So the purchase is obviously massive. I'm much less worried about PlayStation and Nintendo though than I would be the likes of Google Stadia or Amazon Luna, because PlayStation and Nintendo will do fine. They've got their own spaces. PlayStation's going to make some big moves. Lots going to happen with them. They have some of the strongest IP in gaming still, and they'll be making acquisitions. Nintendo left the race a long time ago in the 90s. They've not worried about competing with anybody but themselves for a long time, and they have some of the strongest IP in gaming. So they're all going to be fine and adapt to the competition as they need to. Amazon and Google, though, are a totally different thing. These are new cloud services, startup. The difference between Google Stadia and Luna is Google Stadia is out. It's been a launch product for a couple of years. There's already certain perceptions of the product, and we've seen it appear that Google has invested less when they need to invest more. So closing first party and also not announcing any major third party purchases, I think, really hurt them with the gaming community.
Right.
Luna, on the other hand, has committed a minimum of $500 million a year to their first party studios and their Amazon games that are going to be coming out. On top of that, they've got Luna. So I see their vision as much different, where they'll work on the third party, but they're also probably going to have some strong first party IP coming out. And I think one of the greatest things about the competition from big acquisitions like this with Activision is things that we can't even see yet. I think we'll see some of the greatest new IPs come out from developers, publishers, and different platforms than we have seen in many years. Because if you can't afford to go buy it, you got to start making it. You got to do one or the other. You know what I mean? So I think we're going to see some fantastic new IPs start to flow out over the next 3 to 5 years, as it takes time for all these waves to do what they're going to do. But it's Amazon and Google that Microsoft are looking at more than PlayStation and Nintendo right now. And I would say Luna, even though they're the least launched product, has the most potential right now over Stadia, just with their current plan and what they're investing.
Okay, fair enough. How about you?
Very quickly.
No,
I think with like Amazon, I think they needed that sort of big win in the gaming space with their own first party titles, and sort of New World, I think, has made them hungry for more. And I think they'll be heavily investing a lot more than what they have been. Sort of, I know their first title was only around for around a month before they took it away. But with New World, I think they've seen that success and realized this can be very, very profitable for us. And I think that's where you'll see them starting to put more emphasis into first party, if not like sort of going out and acquiring someone like Sega or maybe a few smaller publishers.
Okay, good point, Flash.
You know what, guys? Now that I was listening to your opinions, I'm now really concerned about Google The reason why is they decided to not invest on first-party titles.
Right.
They probably were not expecting Microsoft to buy Bethesda and buy Activision.
Yeah.
They were not spending the money. And now they find themselves in a position that, as Maker said, they need to double down. So they were not spending at all. But now they see, okay, if we want to compete,
Right.
we have to spend way more than what we were predicting to do,
Yeah.
which was clearly not enough.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know, when they meet with the investors, the shareholders, there will be some interesting conversations because we all know they are not spending much.
Mm-hmm.
And now they need to double down.
Yeah.
Not only because Microsoft bought Bethesda and Activision, but as you guys say, Amazon probably wants to do something big as well.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, I don't know. I love to be on those meetings, to be honest, to understand what are their plans, what's their budget, what was their intentions for this year, and what are their thoughts now that they see how the other companies are moving.
True.
It doesn't look good considering that they are being so quiet in terms of spending money.
Right. True. Duncan, go ahead.
I was going to say this. I'm going to stick up for Amazon Luna and I'm going to stick up for Stadia. I'm going to mention one purchase which would transform both of them into a massive player in the gaming world, because that's all it takes is one game, GTA. You get GTA 6 exclusive on your platform. It brings people there, and it's a snowball after that. Its exclusives drive you to the platforms. If they go out and buy that takes Stadia from a complete irrelevance where it is at this moment in time, if we're going to be completely honest, along with Luna, and put them into the absolute spotlight of being a place to play games. Exclusives matter. If they go out and buy one, that is absolutely what they need to do.
Do you think this accelerates everyone to be a notice and acquiring, right? Again, these companies might not be available to acquire. Hopefully, Stadia has learned, right? You can't. You gotta invest heavily quickly, unless some other company can come in and scoop. But so, do you think this makes the competition a lot more aggressive with acquiring?
I will just say, I'll just quote the $1 Million Man and just say everybody's got a price.
Yeah.
And Hellmonkey is making fun of me saying, yeah, they couldn't go out and buy them. Yes, they could. They drop enough money, they will buy them. No one thought Activision was on the market, and they were.
Right.
Well, to me, I always bought these games on PlayStation. In my mind, these Activision Blizzard games, and even Bethesda, I always bought them on PlayStation. Then if I wanted the Portal experience, I bought it on the Switch. So now Xbox has just pulled the rug from all where my money's going, and it's going into Xbox. That's where I'm going to be in the future. And now it makes me think, come on, who's going to buy Square Enix? Who's going to buy Capcom? Because once them are being acquired, if they ever do get acquired, it's game over. I'll be so tied into that ecosystem, it'll be unbelievable. So for the competitors, they better hurry up and start whispering, going, how much will it take for us to buy you behind the scenes? Because if they're not, it's all over.
Right. Maker, go ahead.
Yeah, I'm of the notion that just about anyone's open to be bought for a price, but at the same time, I think these companies are trying to find the right times to purchase them. Take the Activision Blizzard one. They're in a lawsuit right now. They're struggling in comparison to their previous years, and I think that was the optimal time for a purchase. Similarly with, I think, Bethesda, they had Fallout 76, which kind of was a bit of a mess, but they do have a lot of really good titles under their belt, and so I think that was also a well thought out decision by the Xbox team to purchase them. I think Sony's a bit different. I think they talk with them about making a game, help fund the game, and say, hey, we'll work out a deal of maybe you coming over to us. And I think that's also a good way you work up a partnership, work out a deal, and we'll just see how it goes. But it's really up to whether or not those companies are willing to buy them at a specific price, and how much they negotiate it for them.
Yeah, good point. Next question with this whole thing is, do you guys see Game Pass now being available on competitors' platforms, right? So again, Sony, for instance, right? Microsoft has said we're willing to put out games pretty much anywhere if they allow it. So again, Game Pass, right? Google even as well, right? How we have Ubisoft Plus. Can we see like a Game Pass subscription model on Google Stadia or like as an Amazon Luna channel? Do you think that is, I see Duncan Chicken said, what are your thoughts about that? Do you think that's the way Microsoft is going to go with Game Pass? And do you think their competition is going to okay that on their platform?
Do you know what? I hope so. I hope, like, for example, if a Switch came out with a 5G compatible device, I would love to see Game Pass come out with all them AAA exclusives, and then we have the right to play my Nintendo games. I would also love to see it on PlayStation, but not so much compared to the Nintendo side. So I would love Game Pass everywhere.
Okay. Anyone else?
I would say to be specific, like Game Pass, like the full thing doesn't go to like PlayStation and Nintendo and whatnot because we're talking ports and downloads and all that. But xCloud part of Game Pass, I could see that. I don't see it on PlayStation would be insane. I really don't think you see that anytime in the near future. But Phil Spencer loves Nintendo, man. And if Nintendo would just open up a little bit, I think you could actually see xCloud or Game Pass on the Switch before you would the PlayStation. I see that as more of a possibility. Something like Luna or Google or Stadia or whatever, I don't think you would see it expand to there, but it kind of depends on the juggernaut that Game Pass becomes over the next 2 to 5 years and how important it becomes to other platforms to offer it to their consumers, right?
Yeah.
So, and at the end of the day, it's going to come down to numbers. That's all it ever comes down to.
Right. I think like if they continue with this acquisition spree, they pretty much gonna have like every IP under the belt to where I would assume, right, every company are going to want those games on their platform. And so, like you're saying, it depends what juggernaut they become. But imagine if they have like Sega under their belt, Square Enix under their belt, right? Other companies are gonna want these games on their platform. So they're gonna, be willing to play nice. Again, Microsoft has said as anywhere Game Pass is, we're there, right? So if Sony accepts it, you can start seeing Activision. Like it's pretty interesting where this is headed. But yeah, anyone else with this?
Yeah, I'll jump in. I'll jump in. I'll make my very quick. I don't think it's going to Amazon, Luna, and I don't think it's going to Stadia. I think everywhere else is open for it because they
Tell me why, Duncan. Why do you think they're not going on Amazon and Google?
You're just trying to. Yeah. It is because
tell the people because they might not know.
Because that is who they're competing against in the cloud space.
There you go.
I would not be surprised if. I would not. Sorry, I need to rephrase it. I would not be. I wouldn't rule it out. Game Pass going to GFM.
Yeah.
Believe it or not, because I think that would make a lot of sense because it's PC market, and it's not a proper competitor for them, and it'll cost them less money, less porting. You know all the things there. I could see it making its way to PlayStation because I have to get my clever flipping tweet in here. The Phil Spencer being clever, where he has said his desire to bring Call of Duty to PlayStation on top of the deals. I can see some sort of Game Pass going to PlayStation. It might be, as GTP said, via the cloud. I can see it going to Nintendo as well. But Amazon and Google, not a mission. I do not see that happening.
Yeah. So there's a recent interview, I'm glad you said that, Duncan, to where they said it again, that Google and Amazon are kind of their competitors, right? Again, Sony is Sony. They've been doing what they've been doing for a long time. But when it comes to like finances, they can't make this big acquisition, right? But I think Microsoft sees that Amazon and Google, if they are really serious about gaming, they have the finances to really compete. So yeah, you're right. They might not, right? Because again, if they're the main competitors, they might not put the games on there. But it's going to be quite interesting to see if they do, right? Anyone else?
Yeah, I wanted to say something. Basically, because a lot of people speculate or wish that they could have Game Pass on GeForce Now. I'm hoping, I really don't think so. I'm hoping I'm going to be wrong. Like a lot of times I'm wrong with my predictions. But I really don't think Game Pass will come to GeForce Now.
Why?
We could think about, now that you were, according to what you were just saying, we could invent some conspiracy theory saying, okay, they are going to put Game Pass on GeForce Now, so GeForce Now gets stronger, then can kill Stadia. But no, I don't think that's happening really. And there is something that I want to say, which is Phil Spencer. He's like a really cool guy. He seems like one of us, right? But he's still the CEO of a major company. He needs to respond to the stakeholders. We should not forget that. I really hope I'm wrong when I say I don't think Game Pass is going to be on GeForce Now. It would be wonderful if on next GFN Thursday we got the news that Game Pass is going to be on GeForce Now. I hope so, but I really don't see that happening because all this talk from Phil Spencer about we want our games in as much devices and as possible. We want people to enjoy our games. Personally, I think this is just marketing talk. That's how I see it.
Yeah.
Again, I hope I'm wrong. I really hope I'm wrong, but I don't see that happening. I think a lot of the Phil Spencer talk, when he's talking about making gamers happy, a lot of our games in as much as places as possible, I think it's just marketing. And we love it. That's why people love Phil Spencer, actually, right? And that's why we buy into whatever he sells to us. But again, I really hope I'm wrong.
Yeah, true. Host, did you just turn into a bird?
I actually just leaned on the hotkey. Then I got the keyboard on my mouse, and I actually just leaned on my avatar hotkey.
Oh, that's cool. That's cool.
I can do it. I can do it on the whim, but I was just
Well, that's cool. Good stuff. Good stuff. Anyone else with this, man? This was a huge news. People are still talking about it today. The impact that it's made. But yeah, this brings up a lot of questions when it comes to cloud gaming. Like we stated here, how serious are the competitors, right? That's cool too. Is Google gonna be willing to shell out money to compete? Is Amazon gonna continue, right, creating first-party studio games? Are they going to be aggressive with trying to acquire companies, right? These are questions I think these companies are going to be asking themselves just because of this move. So it not only shook the console PC market, but I think for cloud gaming as a whole, it is bringing up a lot of questions for these companies. So it's gonna be cool to see how they respond to it.
Hey, can I go against the grain really quickly and say that I think it'd be a very smart move to bring Game Pass titles to Luna, simply because you kind of turn them into a client instead of a competitor. People will jump into the Luna space just to play Game Pass titles. Stadia, I don't think they're really worried about Stadia, but Google as a whole, perhaps. Cloud space business, but not game side. I don't believe they're worried about Stadia game side. Why?
Yeah.
Just as me.
Go ahead.
Just as Gamer has said in that, it's something we discussed when we were talking about the Activision merger here. This is actually hurting Google's cloud gaming service as well, not Stadia, their actual cloud service, because this is going to be pulling Activision off. The Call of Duty runs off Google's infrastructure there, along with King. I know people we could have had a big talk about King, and I know I've been getting made fun of when I talk about the mobile game, but they're going to be losing two of their biggest gaming people there, because obviously when this merger goes through, if it goes through, they're going to pull their services off Google Cloud and put them onto Azure. So that's another bit of this as well, which I don't think is getting talked enough in the cloud space.
I definitely think it doesn't get talked about enough, especially the IP. Another thing is IP recognition in Eastern countries. Xbox has mostly been very westernized, so Eastern side, Japan and China and stuff, usually they don't really sell really well. So stuff like Blizzard, whether you've got like StarCraft 2 and you've got King, which deals with mobile games, which is very big in places like India, China, etc. I think when they start to shift xCloud over to those things, having titles that people are familiar with will really push that service and make it a strong competitor.
Yeah, true. One last thing I want to talk about with this, right? So I don't know if you guys did. There's a recent. I'm trying to locate where it is, but a recent interview with Phil Spencer, where he talked about. I think it was said in Nadella, or whatever the CEO's name is, either him or Phil, but they were talking about why they made this move to acquire. And in that conversation, they stated, right, Google is known for the search, Amazon's known for, the online store. And they said that they want Microsoft to be known for gaming, right? And I think that says a lot. That's a huge statement to make. And it shows. We talk about it here all the time, right? We see that. We see Phil Spencer, the CEO of Microsoft, talking, right? This move right here is huge because, again, it shows the commitment that Microsoft have towards gaming. Just want to, in a way, end with this, right? Going forward, do you see Microsoft being that, like being known for gaming? Like, if you think Microsoft, you think gaming, because it sounds like that's what they want to approach with all this acquisition. So I'm just going to open that up to you guys. How big of a move is this? And do you think that when you talk about gaming, you'll identify Microsoft instead of Sony and Nintendo or anyone else?
I mean, I already do. And have for a long time. And what Microsoft's really doing is just embracing something that's already always been, because Microsoft had Windows originally and gaming on Windows and starting even back in 1995. And before that, they had Flight Simulator, which was Microsoft Flight Simulator way back then. Gaming has been a part of their lifeblood for a long time. I highly suggest anybody that hasn't watched that 6-part Xbox show that came out. It's really good. Yeah. It'll talk about these things I'm saying, and all the way up to like when Bill Gates green lighted the original Xbox to the team to start moving forward. And he dumped like $1 billion off the bat on that. It was like, $1 billion, go. Let's start this process. And of course, it was no easy road. But they wanted to get there. They saw what was going on in the space. So I don't think this is new information. It's Microsoft really deciding to fully embrace it and become what they've always been, which is a big part of gaming.
Yeah. So this move right here targets every game division. It's not just cloud. It's not just console. It's not just PC. It sounds like they're going after everyone. And I think this move, to get Activision, again, they have, what's the mobile game, the popular one that they're getting from this too. So in a way, it's like they're going to be going for mobile, they're going to be going for console, they're going to be going for cloud. It's bold, but man, it's crazy. It's crazy.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And doesn't Call of Duty with Tencent, right? Like the mobile version. So they're still going to have some kind of take in that, and I think that game makes like $1 billion a year. So I don't know, it's a high number. So I mean, they're gonna have a little piece of that. And the other thing is, this is all kind of like two parts. So like everybody talks about the IP that Microsoft is getting, but they're also just making a freaking statement by dropping, you know, between Bethesda and Activision alone, we're over $70 million. You add in Minecraft they got in 2014 and some other purchases. Microsoft's dropping 80 to $100 billion in the past 8 years in gaming. Who else is doing that?
It's crazy.
It's making a huge statement. It's not even just the IP they're getting.
Huge. And last time I said, I know someone else want to talk, but not just in the gaming space are they making noise, but they're showing the world also that gaming is important. And, you know, take notice. I mean, you're hearing people who don't even follow gaming talking about gaming now because of this acquisition. So in a way, they also put like gaming on the map, right? Showing people we spending $70 billion here. Take notice, right? We're not playing around, and this is a big market. So I think that's pretty cool to see as well. But anyone else? I know someone else wanted to talk. Duncan, was that you?
No, it wasn't me, but I can talk. I knew you know me. I can talk and talk and talk and talk
Go
and
ahead,
talk.
Duncan.
Well, I don't. For me, I like Microsoft. I like PlayStation. I like Nintendo. But when I think gaming, I do not think Microsoft at this moment in time. If I'm thinking gaming, it's more probably PlayStation or even just go Steam and stuff like that. They have work to do still in that space. I think we say this about cloud is too early to call. I think this is far too early to call because we have got so much going on and things are going to change in the next 12 to 18 months. We're seeing I know this isn't really cloud related, but we'll just talk generally. We're seeing the rise of Oculus and Meta, which you made fun of me last week. Yeah, we're seeing the rise of Meta with Oculus. We've got the Giant, and people are sleeping on this. I believe we have Apple making their headset as well. If you're going down this metaverse and into gaming, they're making theirs. Yes, Maker.
I wouldn't be surprised if Apple jumps in as well. Look at their new subscription service through Apple Arcade, where they have exclusive titles with Platinum Games made World of Demons, which everybody knows Platinum Games from Bayonetta and Nier Automata. Like they're a well-known developer in the AAA game space. He mentioned Meta as well. One thing we didn't cover was actually Activision Blizzard also approached Meta about the purchase.
Yes, true. And I'm glad you said, Duncan. Sorry, we'll get back to you. But yeah, so they Activision came to different companies to sell the company to them, and yeah, Facebook was one of them. Meta, if you want to call it that. And I heard there was someone else. I think they talked about EA or some other company, but yeah, they approached several people, but they said Microsoft was the quickest to respond, and this happened in December, so this is all fresh, all new. But yeah, just wanted. Sorry, Duncan, go ahead.
Duncan, where I wasn't really thought I was going to talk, but yeah, I think we're going to see. I think when we come back in 12 to 18 months here, we're going to be talking about other companies. I think this is just kicking this off, and the one I have got my eye on is PlayStation with teaming up with Apple. I don't know what is appealing with me there, but I think that could be one to keep an eye on because I think that would go hand in hand.
They do sell that PS5 controller on the Apple Store.
And Apple's getting pushed heavily by PlayStation as well for Apple TV. So I don't know why, but I've got a feeling that could be something.
You know, that's great that you said that because Apple, when they make like acquisition, they like, for instance, Beats headset, right? They like to go for quality, right? And a lot of people know Sony for quality IPs, right? But my biggest thing with that is, you know, trying to acquire a company that's located in a different country. This, like, you have to worry about the laws of that country. So that might be. I would say if they were an American company, that probably will happen a lot sooner. But you have that to take into consideration.
Microsoft had to deal with that with Bethesda as well. Tango Softworks is in Japan.
It's true. It's true, but they did it. So we'll see. Again, this it might be fun, but some people don't like the whole acquisition stuff. But it's changing. Gaming is changing, and this is pretty interesting to see unfold for sure. But anyone else? We're gonna wrap this up. So we didn't get to Fortnite, iOS, and Geforce Now. But that's a big deal. If you guys are iOS users, check Fortnite out through Geforce Now, touch controls, all that good stuff. But yeah, let's just give members a chance to plug the channels, let people know what they do and where you can find them. So to get started, Holds, what do you do, sir? Where can people find you?
Well, at the moment, I was actually messing around this week with actually customization. I was using like the Melon app to see if I can stream some stage in Geforce Now, and it was having a little bit of hiccups, only like a microsecond, but I didn't think that reflected the cloud service as well. So I decided to customize me stream labs and stuff like that to get ready to play some games on Twitch. So you can actually see me on Twitch next week with Pokemon Legend Arceus, and then like likes of Grid Legends and stuff like that next month, and the PlayStation 5 titles, and even cloud titles in next month on Cloud Gaming Club.
Nice.
And you've just seen that I accidentally leaned on my character, so that'll be my character going forward. It's fully automated, so it should be fun.
That's awesome. Good stuff, Holds. Good to have you in here. Fletch, it's good to see you, my dude. How you doing?
Yeah. All good. Yeah.
Good.
Thank you for having me on.
Yeah, let the people know what you do and where they can find you.
Yeah, so I've started back up again after having the baby. So sort of doing everything from sort of Stadia, xCloud, starting to branch into Geforce Now. Sort of when Luna comes that as well. Sort of bit of everywhere. Sort of priority is Stadia and xCloud for myself. Especially on the xCloud front of doing a lot of comparisons between those sort of streams. Just doing a lot of comparisons, live streams, sort of in and out really. But you obviously find me at PSX Cloud. Just doing a lot of things at the moment really. Got a lot of stuff lined up as well.
That's awesome, man. Good to have you on, and it's good to see you. I know when you have a baby, man, it takes a lot of your time. So good to see you getting back to creating content, man. Awesome.
Yeah, thank you.
Sure. Yeah. Duncan, what do you do, sir? Where can people find you?
You can find me over at Creative Games. We've got a load of videos going where we've slightly changed a bit of our content, and still getting the usual sort of stuff, but we're branching out slightly, which seems to be going down well. So go check that out.
I like it. I loved there's a video you showed. I think it was like how to play Extraction, right, through Game Pass and GFN or something like that. Brilliant video. If you guys haven't checked that out. But yeah, man, good to have you in here, Duncan, for sure. Did you shave? Or
both. I was viciously assaulted, so I was.
Who made fun of you, Duncan? Who made fun of you?
Everybody did.
Yeah, it looks like you got into a fight with a lawnmower.
Oh, you lucky Hellmonkey was not on this panel too. You would have heard it from. But good to have you in here, for sure. Tito, good to see you, my dude. Let the people know what you do and where can people find you.
Yeah, well, they can find me in Geforce Now in Español, for Spanish-speaking users, YouTube account, Twitch account, also Twitter account. And more recently, I have been helping you guys with the Cloud Gaming Extreme in Español channel. Right. For all those who like the Cloud Gaming Extreme videos, especially the comparison videos, the weekly Nick videos. But a lot of people don't speak English. They just watch the videos because they like the content, but they don't understand it. So I'm helping you guys with the Cloud Gaming Extreme in Español channel as well. Yeah. And yeah, that's it. And nice to be here again. Thank you.
Yeah, for sure. Thanks, man. Your work is awesome. People seem to be really enjoying it. So thanks for all you do for us there. Gamer, how are you, sir? What?
I'm good.
Yeah, let the people know what you do, where they can find you.
Just find me here and on Twitter when I am here, man. I'm the elusive cat. So wherever you can find me, that's where I am.
For sure.
Love it here though.
Yeah, man. Always good to have you as a panel member, man. Good stuff. Maker of Chaos, sir. Tell the people what you do, where they can find you.
You can find me at Cloudy with Games. I help them out with some stuff, as well as CGX. I help you guys out a little bit. And I'm every Thursday I'm on Dr. Spaceman's show, Cloud Nation TV, and you can catch me on Twitter. I mostly just post kind of gaming news on my Twitter profile at Maker of Chaos 12, if you're interested.
That's awesome. Dr. Spaceman's also a panel member, and they have a dope podcast as well. So definitely make sure you check that out. Makers, good to see you. And again, thank you for being here. So GTP, shout outs to you, man. I was trying to set this up, and Monkey and Chief couldn't make it. I was like, man, who else can I ask? And you were the first person that came to mind. So thank you for taking it on, and you killed it, and so appreciate that.
Thanks, man. I don't know if I killed it, but hopefully everybody was all right for the first hour and a half or so.
You did good.
But no, it was an honor, man, to fill the shoes for a little while. It was a lot of fun.
Yeah, good stuff.
But,
tell the people, what you do and where they can find you.
Yeah, guys, all kinds of gameplays and comparisons and game testing for cloud console and PC. You can find me under Game Tech Planet on YouTube, Twitter, and Facebook.
Nice. GTP, man, again, thank you so much for covering. But yeah. So guys, this is going to be right after it's done an audio form on Anchor, or whatever, audio podcast you use. Check that out. But yeah, really appreciate you guys. Again, thank you guys for sticking around. GTP, again, thanks for hosting. And yeah, we'll catch you guys next week. Should be back. I'm sure there's going to be some crazy cloud gaming news to talk about next week. But we'll catch you guys then. Till next time, peace out, y'all.